Hey, hey, welcome to Candidly Speaking with Chelle and Kelle. I'm Kelle.
I am Chelle, and you know what? We are tickled that you are.
Uh-oh. Well, what she meant to say was we are tickled that you are here with us today. And we have got a great show for you today. But while Miss Michelle is frozen, I think, is she just frozen for me or is she frozen for everybody?
Everyone.
Okay. Well, anyway, I will continue on and I will remember to do the sponsors like I forgot to do last week. First of all, and most importantly, is Blue Sky Video Productions. This is Bruce Himmelblau, our producer. He makes all of this magic happen. And if you were looking to start a live stream and you don't want to have to worry about pushing the buttons and making, changing the screens, Bruce here is the guy you want helping you behind the scenes. So thank you, Bruce. Next, we have Goodwin Graphics, cottonfeelsgood.com. I will find the link, Bruce. I would like to put the donation link that Ronnie has to raise money for the Ukraine. He's raised a ton of money so far, and he's got these great t-shirts. So somewhere in the comments, I will put the link so any of our viewers, whether you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay, make sure you donate to that. It's a wonderful cause, and it's a great shirt. And then finally, Cards That Wow. And that's me. And that's my dog in the background. Sorry. Today, I want to show you, I do a lot of corporate branded type things, but I've been working on these Kentucky Derby invitations, and I finally finished them today. And they're getting shipped out tomorrow to my client. They're so big, they have to be put in a box. They don't fit in an envelope. So this is the box. It's got a little Kentucky stamp. And then you open it up, and it says, "It's Derby time." And then inside each invitation is a bottle of champagne that explodes. I've had 3 of these explode in my office so far this week. This place is a mess. And then this is the invitation. Let's get this out. So it's 3-dimensional.
That is so adorable.
I made Kentucky Derby hats. I love this one. This one's my favorite. And then, of course, you open it up and it has all the party invitation. So I'm not just doing corporate branded items. I'm doing personal invitations as well. I'm branding out or expanding my expertise. And I'm also painting a 7-foot racehorse for the party. So that's going to be fun.
That party is going to be spectacular. And for those of y'all who don't know, I'm actually in Louisville, Kentucky, and I have never seen a Derby invitation like that. That is
Well, thank you, Michelle. I think she was going to say that was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. So love it.
Oh, and there's our friend Teresa. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Yay! Thanks for coming by.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I did the sponsors. Now, Michelle, you do the subscribe, share.
I will do the subscribe part. Y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is wonderful. We love it when you watch us on Facebook. We would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. So if you're watching tonight, please just put in the comments where you're from. If you're watching the replay, put #replay. We love to hear from you guys. And I'm just excited. I say this every week. But
I know.
So excited.
It's because we have such great lineups. We have such great guests.
Seriously, we have. Seriously. So tonight, we have an amazing man who is going, I had to write this down. There's so much stuff, who is going to talk about reinventing your life, realizing your potential, stop making excuses. And if I may, ladies, and you know who you are, some of you like the bad boys, okay? So if that's you and you know who you are, we got a little treat for you tonight here.
No, it's a big treat. It's a big treat.
And his name is Christopher Rausch.
Hey.
I told y'all. See, look, I told you.
There's our bad boy.
What's up, beautiful ladies? So great to be here with you today. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Well, we are so happy to have you here. Thanks for taking time out. Y'all, he is actually camping right now. So coming to us from somewhere near Riverside, California. So thanks for taking time away from your vacation to do this for us. We appreciate it.
And tell your family.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
I'm out here by myself, just me and my dog.
Oh, good.
It's a boys trip.
Wow.
Yep, out here
Good
writing
for
a
you.
book. I'm out here writing a best-selling book, future best-selling book
Yay.
that will become a movie.
And that
Okay.
would be about your journey?
Tell me about my journey.
I said,
Well,
is
let's
the
see.
book,
The
is the book
encapsulated
going to be about your journey?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's basically the book is called "It's Just You and Me, Kid," and it's a story about me and my mother and our crazy journey through life, where I learned many, many lessons and went through 2 suicide attempts. Was homeless for 4 years, living on the streets in the backseat of a station wagon with 18 cats and 2 dogs, and ultimately going back to school and becoming a successful person in my life and making an impact in the world. So that's the gist of it.
Can you talk about, that's actually one of the questions that I have written down here, Christopher. Can you just talk a little bit about where you came from and how you got to where you are now? Amazing journey.
Oh, geez. How much time do we have? I'll give you the eclipse version. Like I said before, I'm a former 7th grade homeless dropout who lived in the backseat of a station wagon with 18 cats, 4 dogs, with a mother with various psychological disorders. And on May 10th, 1982, we became homeless, and I left the 7th grade and embarked on a journey that was anything like I'd never seen in a movie or anything like that. And it was full of drugs, violence, gangs, shoplifting, alcoholism, you name it, I did it. I tried to commit suicide twice. Unfortunately, I sucked at it. And then ultimately got to a point where somebody put a gun to my head and I thought my brains were going to get blown out. And I decided at that point, either I was going to get out of the situation in a police car, going to jail, I was going to be carried out in a pine box, or I was going to have to stand up on my own 2 feet and recognize that I was in a codependency type of relationship and had to step out on my own. And that's what I did. It was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to do. But ultimately, through doing that, I embarked on another journey in my life to recreate myself and to create an impact in the world, which I do today as the No Excuses coach.
Pop that.
Wow. Okay. So how old were you, if you don't mind my asking, how old were you when you had this realization or epiphany or whatever you want to call it?
When you made the
How old were
choice
you?
to,
Yeah.
when you made your choice.
Oh, yeah. You guys can ask me anything. I'm an open book. I was 17 years old. The journey started when I was 13. And when I was 17 years old, I really got to a point where I was like, all right, either I'm going to wind up dead or in jail unless I change what it is that I'm doing. And I ultimately did that and was able to go back to school and recreate my life.
So what did you do first? What was the first step that you took?
I told my mom. I got to a point where she knew all the different things that I went through. And I went to work one day. I was working out of a person's apartment in Huntington Beach, California. And we got to work that day. I was working with another guy that was living in the motel with us. And I got to work that day. And our boss said, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. And I told him, I said, I've had enough bad news to last me a lifetime. I said, what's the good news? And he goes, I want to leave you guys my apartment. And it was a 2-bedroom apartment in Huntington Beach. It was like $850 a month rent, had a nice facility and everything. And we just looked at each other. Me and Robert just looked at each other like, oh my God, we could have this. And then it dawned on me, oh yeah, I'm living in a motel taking care of my psychiatric, impaired mother. How is this going to go over? And I thought everything that I had been through up until that point, I actually started theorizing in my mind that perhaps she would say, you know what, Chris, you need to go. I've already screwed up your life enough. You need to go and do this. You need to live your life. My life is screwed up. I'm screwing your life up. And that was kind of this ideology that I had in my brain. But when I ultimately told my mom, she called me every name in the book. She tried to have me arrested for stealing my own car. And ultimately, the first step I took was just getting out and just getting out of that comfort zone, and ultimately still going back there every single day and helping her out financially and with help. But that first step was just me getting out of there and recognizing that there was so many other opportunities for me if I just opened myself up to them.
Wow. That's a big step to take at that age. I mean, that you're a young kid.
At any age, yeah.
A huge decision. I mean, I couldn't imagine making that decision at my age now.
Exactly. At 17, I was worried about, what lip gloss I was wearing. Wow.
Right.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
me too.
Yeah.
So was there somebody
who the lip gloss was on?
Yeah, there you go.
That's funny. So was there one person or a group of people that helped you? I can imagine you're a strong man. You could be doing this on your own, but did you have some standout people that you remember that really pushed you in the right direction?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. I met this girl, we had to have 4 roommates in order to make this thing happen. And so they got a job at Kmart, and they threw a party one night, and they invited some girls from Kmart over. And so I met this one girl, and ultimately wound up becoming my girlfriend. And I was the guy on the wrong side of the tracks. I had super long hair. I smoked cigarettes. I did drugs. I was a, like when you said bad boy at the beginning of the show, I was one of those bad boys. And I didn't give a hoot's butt about, that's weird. I never said that before. A hoot's butt. I'm trying not to cuss.
You can cuss.
And I never really, didn't really care about most people at the time. But when my girlfriend said, my parents want to meet you, I said, are you sure about that? Because she was from the other side of the track. She was upper middle class, nice house. And she says, my parents want to meet you. And I was like, all right. And it was one of the greatest experiences of my life, because I had so many people looking at me for all my life and stereotyping me because I had long hair and, all these different things. And this gentleman, his name was Bill White, he actually looked inside of me. He didn't look at me. And he ultimately told me one day, he's like, Chris, have you ever thought about going back to school? And I'm like, come on, Bill, that was the 7th grade. Your daughter's graduating high school right now. I'm not going to go back and repeat high school. I wasn't that smart. My mom told me I was stupid my entire life. You're crazy. And he's like, no, Chris, he goes, you're only limited by the parameters of your own mind. And I thought, I'm only limited by the parameters of my own mind. And he said, you can go back and get what's called a GED. I was like, a GED, what's that? And he says, it's a general equivalency diploma. And I was like, all right. And I thought, well, I want to keep dating his daughter. This guy's smart. He has furniture in his house he doesn't even sit on. I grew up with a bed as a couch in our house. And so I was like, what, I might want to follow this guy's advice. So without the internet, without any knowing or anything else, I started calling around. I found out there was a school in Huntington Beach that offered the GED program.
Wow. Hopefully Christopher will be right back. We were having a little bit of trouble before the show.
Yeah.
What
a story so far.
Absolutely.
And he's so amazing. I mean, we were on his show about a month ago. There he is.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
So ultimately I went back to school, and then he said, when are you going to go to college? And I was like, college? Are you crazy? I can't afford that. I'm working 3 jobs and everything. And I wound up going to college and just took my first class, and ultimately 12 years later got my master's degree.
That's amazing.
So what is your master's in?
Organizational management.
Nice. And at 17, did you think you would have a master's degree?
Say that again?
I said at 17, did you envision yourself having a master's degree?
No, I was digging through trash cans, trying to find food to eat. No, I had no idea. At that point, I figured my life was going to be me working 4 or 5 jobs just to get by.
Wow. So when I think Christopher Rausch, I think unstoppable. Okay. So you've already given us so many examples of how you are unstoppable, but what does that truly mean to you? What does that mean to what can that mean to those who are watching? How do you get yourself into that mindset? How do you start to be unstoppable?
There's a powerful word called perhaps. And I started using the word perhaps. I always thought that I was stupid. My mother always told me I was stupid. I was bullied in school. I was bullied in my neighborhood. I was physically and mentally abused by my mother. So for me, being unstoppable is the word perhaps. Perhaps I would be more effective at this if I did this. And so I started realizing that it's not the fact that you become unstoppable. It's the fact that you choose to keep going no matter what the adversity is. So for me, when I think about my life and all the different quote unquote mistakes that I've made, the mistakes are really learning opportunities, because I started to develop the mindset that life was happening for me and not to me. So as I started shifting my perspective and started getting around more talented people and people who were successful, all I had to do was repeat the process of what it was that they were doing in order to replicate that same success. They often talk about success leaves clues. So for me, it was just really, truly recognizing that any adversity was there as an opportunity for me to overcome that and to become stronger. And so ultimately, I just developed that mindset that you can throw anything at me and I'm going to overpower it, because it's an opportunity for me to grow. And when you think about your life, ladies and gentlemen, when have you grown the most? When you were safe and comfortable and it was easy, or when there was a challenging opportunity in your life and you look back and go, wow, that opportunity sucked. And I call it an opportunity. I don't call it a challenge or a problem. I call it an opportunity. That sucked, but I grew so much from those opportunities that now I'm the man I am today, and I've helped so many other people. So when we recognize that the challenges in our life are opportunities, and that when we overcome them, we can help other people, that becomes super powerful, at least for me. What about you guys?
Definitely.
Well, you know, what's the saying? I'm not good at sayings. I always get them wrong, but you know what I'm referring to about smooth seas do not make strong sailors. Do you know what I'm talking about?
True.
There's a nice, lovely quote about that. But you know, those adversities is that's how you grow. That's what makes you stronger. And you know, I think with each triumph, and I think that certainly you're a walking, talking, you know, testimony to this. You get stronger with each win, with each triumph. And as you surround yourself with people who build you up, you know, you get where you need to be, or you get on the right path. So who do you surround yourself with now, Christopher?
Oh, geez. You amazing people, obviously. You know, it's true. It's so funny when I think about the last couple of years. I was very successful in corporate, and using my master's degree, I became a director of operations for a company. I was there for 26 years, could have easily become the president, but doing my coaching and my speaking and everything else, I recognized that I was comfortably miserable. And so when I left the corporate space back in November of 2019, before COVID hit, it was a scary time. It was very tumultuous for me to go out and do everything full time. But the amazing part, to answer your question, the people I have surrounded myself in the last couple of years are truly phenomenal souls. And it wasn't until I left corporate and then I recognized I was being such a people pleaser, that I was changing who I was and who I am to make everybody else happy. And I recognized through my own coach, Sally Anderson, she said, you know, you got to stop being a survivor, Chris. And I was like, a survivor? What do you mean? I'm a thriver. I've got all these things. I own 2 houses. I have 6 figures, blah, blah, all these different things. I'm super successful. What do you mean? She goes, no, you have to have a plan A, B, and C. You have to, you cater yourself to everybody else to make sure that you have the recipe for success. And so the last couple of years, especially leaving corporate, I've just been me. I've just totally been me. I swear, I say things, I talk in circles sometimes, but just being me, I've attracted so many beautiful people like you guys into my life. And that's not a joke. I'm not just saying that because I'm on the show. You guys are amazing people that, you know, I have such a team that I talk about, you know, having a team, having somebody that you trust, somebody that empowers you, somebody that holds you accountable, and somebody who's your mentor. I have such an amazing team now that I know in a moment I could call Kellen, and I could call you. I could call, you know, my friend Lee or Walt or Jock, all these amazing people in my life. So I continue to surround myself, because iron sharpens iron. I think the Bible said that. I'm not an expert on the Bible, but you know, when you surround yourself with people who are brighter and smarter than you, then you can't help but want to elevate yourself and to be that circle and to be the best that you could be. So I've dedicated my life to personal development and constantly learning and growing and reading books and just going to classes and having my own coaches, just to continue just to see where it is that I can be, because my intent is, with my legacy, is to impact over 1 billion lives with my words and my actions while I'm here alive.
So name some books that you that changed your life. I know a lot of us mention the same books, but I'm just curious. Just pick a few.
I will definitely have to say Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, because that taught me that nobody can tell you or make you tell you how to feel. You know, oh, that person made me feel mad. That person this, you know, this sucks. That book rewrote my perspective on what it is that we're able to endure and what we could do to change our perspectives about things. I would say another one is Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because in there, he taught me the golden rule, which I did not grow up with. My mother was not a people person. If you think I'm a people person, that's because I've done a lot of work on myself. But 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about seek first to understand, then to be understood. And so for me, in living with my mom, she always had to be right. She always angry. And so for me, I grew up like that. I was a sarcastic asshole. I was like, yeah, da, 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 da. And I wasn't getting the success that I thought I deserved. So I had to rewrite my perspective about who I was. So that was a great book. And the last one I'll tell you about, I mean, I can literally cite hundreds of books. The other one that's been super huge for me is called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. The big leap taught me that we have these upper limit problems that we associate ourselves with that kind of keep us stuck, that keep us at a certain place where we're comfortably miserable. And so for that book, I knew that as a leader, I was operating in my zone of excellence, which I thought, okay, if you're operating in your zone of excellence, that's awesome. But then I found out there's a level above that, and it's called your zone of genius. And when you're operating in your zone of genius, which for me is coaching and speaking and writing and impacting people, that's a whole other level of success. And so for me, those 3 books, at the very least, changed my life extraordinarily.
I love that zone of genius. I actually
Yeah.
learned that this over the past 2 years with COVID. I knew what I was good at, but now I know my zone of genius,
Yeah.
and it's pretty damn fun.
Yeah. Well, and Christopher, that's
Go for
actually a little segue into my next question. How has the pandemic affected you? Has it changed your points of view? Has it changed your approaches to things? Not at all. What?
Oh yeah. You know what? It's funny. Before this thing called Clubhouse, honestly, in 2019, you know, leaving corporate and everything, 2020, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out and do the speaking thing. I'm finally going to get to devote my time to it. And then COVID happened. And then we were going through the elections. We had the murder of George Floyd. We had cancel culture. I was losing my faith in humanity. God's honest truth. I was losing my faith in humanity. I don't watch the news. I don't follow politics. But I really saw humanity going in a downward spiral. And I was worried. I was scared because I love all people. I believe that in the Pareto principle, that 80% of the people here on this spinning blue marble through space are amazing people all around the world. But I was losing my hope with that. So over the course of the last 2 years, I've recognized, and being a part of Clubhouse, that in that space where you're just listening to somebody's voice, nobody's judging what you look like, what your religious beliefs are, what your vaccination beliefs are, any belief that you have. I would be in a room of 100 people, and people were struggling, and we'd be pouring into these people, you know, offering them feedback to get them through these challenging times. And not a single person ever asked, you know, so what's your stance on Trump? What's your stance on this? And it restored my faith in humanity. So for me, I learned through these last couple of years and through COVID, number one, that people are still beautiful, and that I think we can have disagreements, but I don't think that makes people bad, that if we disagree on things. I think at a point now we're so sensitive that people are afraid to have conversations and get into the meat of things and why we disagree, and actually seeking, like I said before, seeking to understand. But the other thing I've learned in these last 2 years, and this is an important part, as my way of giving back to the community, I've been giving away my coaching. So I give complimentary coaching sessions for an hour for people who've never worked with me, just as my way of, they have a problem, you know, that I can help them at least with that one problem and try to help shift their perspective. So at least they have some sort of hope and some sort of strategy to move on with. And quickly I started realizing a pattern. And so I started asking these people, and I did over 100 of these. I started asking people, do you love yourself? Yes or no? And I thought it was a stupid question at first, because I thought we all love each other and everything. And it's taken me a long time to love myself. And I started recognizing and seeing people's faces on Zoom calls that they struggled with that. So for me, it's been a huge learning point that when I look at somebody, I ask myself, I wonder if they love themselves. I wonder where they're hurt as a little boy and a little girl because of the conditioning process that we go through as little kids. That frames a lot of who we are today as adults. So for me, I've learned a lot of lessons over the last couple of years, and it's empowered me more to be a way better coach, a way better dad, a way better husband, a way better person.
Wow. That's good
What about
stuff.
you guys? What have you learned over the last couple of years?
I think the last couple of years weeded out a lot of garbage, meaning people, habits. I mean, the whole gamut. Wasted time.
Right.
You know, spend more time developing yourself by reading and learning and meeting new people, and getting rid of people that weren't servicing you, or, you know, there was no reason to, you know, it's like you said, you're trying to be a people pleaser all the time. And I've noticed that I've gotten rid of quite a few people that all I did was want to please them, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for me. How about you, Michelle?
Well, and Kellen, you and I have had this conversation countless times, really. Yes to everything that you just said. I think that during the you know, since COVID, I've just been able to look, you know, more deeply inside Michelle, what is important to Michelle. Okay. And it's nice. And y'all know, it kills me if I ever think I hurt somebody's feelings, or if I ever, I'm not wired that way. Okay. I can't do that. But I think, and part of it may be a result of this really digging deep, or part of it may be just because, my birthdays are starting to stack up a little bit more, and I'm more comfortable in my own skin, and knowing that my opinion is just as valid as anyone else's. And, I used to struggle with things like that. If I was having a conversation with the two of you and I disagreed with something that you said, I would just take a sip of sweet tea or something. I probably wouldn't, now, not that I'm going to come out with fangs now, that's not at all what I mean, but I do understand now that the points that I have are valid, are justified. Um, and I just think more deeply. I believe that, but why is it that I believe that?
Right.
And a lot of that, I think, has just really come from this time and surrounding myself with different people, and many of whom are like-minded, many of whom are not. But back to your point earlier, Christopher, we can disagree and still be friends. That is a foreign concept, sadly, to a lot of people these days. And that I just scratch my head over that. I can't wrap my brain around that. I disagree with you. So, you're dead to me. That doesn't make, and I'm not talking about huge,
The
I
funny
disagree with
thing
Putin.
is,
I'm not talking about something like that. But just this whole cancel culture, it just is a little baffling to me. So I don't know.
I
That's
think
not really what you asked, Christopher. But
I think what's funny is when I talk about getting rid of the garbage, they were people that I don't even think they miss me. You know what I mean? It's like it wasn't like I just said, "Oh, I'm done with you, get out of my life." I just like stopped communicating or, engaging. And I bet half of them don't even know that I stopped, So
sometimes you wonder, don't you?
yeah.
You wonder. But I've gone through some major changes in my life in the last couple of
Yeah,
months.
you have.
Major, just about as big as you can get. And oh, by the way, thanks to Brian Monahan for filling in for me last week as I closed on my new house.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But and as have you, Kellen. I mean, you moved across the country. I mean, things that are just big, stressful things. I think probably the top 3 biggest stressors out there. I've done 2 of them in the
I've done
last
2 of
few
them as
months.
well.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But you know what? That's what I wanted to do, and I'm confidently moving forward. Choices that I made, it's gonna be okay.
I
And
think the pandemic
no
has
regrets.
forced us to really decide what we wanted, who we were, and the direction we wanted to go. Because
Yeah.
you were forced to be by yourself at one point, for periods of time that we never would have been forced to sit and have to think about our life and where we want to go. I mean, I don't think I'd have done half of what I'd done if it weren't for the pandemic. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, me too. Well, and Christopher, sometimes do you ever just, I know that you said that you're working on your book right now and you're out with the dog, but do you ever just sit sometimes just in, oh, look at that. Just sit in silence and just with yourself? I love to do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. I mean, that's
Time
a
3
great
years ago,
question.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Mhm. Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, I mean, sitting in silence and meditating is one of the newest things I've learned about myself and being able to do. It's been quite challenging for me. I have ADHD on crack, so I tend to be very high strung. But sitting with yourself and being quiet and not going to the short term gratifications that we oftentimes go to in order to ignore our life. You got to be present with your thoughts and your feelings. And I think that one of the best things you could do is journal in order to really kind of uncover what it is that we might be hiding subconsciously in our hearts that maybe we need to address.
I agree.
I would love to journal. I don't. That's one of the things I aspire to. But it's interesting. Sometimes it's like if I don't think about something, it's almost like I'm embarrassed to bring it up to myself. Okay. I don't want to talk to myself about it. I don't know what's wrong with me, y'all. Maybe y'all
You're perfect.
can fix me. But I mean, do you ever do that? You think, this is something that I really need to work on, or this is something that's I'm embarrassed by or ashamed of, or fill in the blank, and you don't even want to really come clean with yourself about that.
Mhm.
So what do you think? Does that ever happen to you, Christopher? What do you do?
Or how do you coach that? How do you coach
Yeah.
someone that says, "Hey, I need these good habits, and I want to journal and I want to meditate, but I can't make it happen." I mean, how do you help people through that?
That is a great question as well. One of the best things that we could do is think with the end in mind and work backwards. So what I did back in 2008 is I went to a funeral for a coworker, and at that funeral, I thought to myself, if I died tomorrow, who would show up and what would they say? So I went home and I actually wrote out my eulogy.
Oh,
And in 2008, I recognized that Christopher Rausch will have fought for what's right and what's fair. He will have risked for which that mattered, and he will have left the earth a better place for who he was and what he did. So when people are challenged, you got to think about what it is that you want to do to be remembered for in your life, and then work backwards from that. And just ask yourself every single day, am I being intentional with that legacy that I want to leave? And if you're not being intentional with that legacy, you need to catch yourself and change your patterns. And that's one of the reasons why I have so many clients and how many people come to me for coaching, is the fact that I keep them on that path so that they can learn how to do that for themselves more consistently than without me.
Mm.
Wow. Hey, Lynn.
I hope
Thanks
that
for
came through.
joining us. Wow. That's a lot to think about, Christopher. Very interesting perspective. And I would really challenge anyone watching to maybe go through that same exercise. I think I want to do that. I don't want to do it today, but I do want to do that.
I'm thinking about the first time I met you, Christopher. I'm not sure if you know or remember. You might
I
remember.
was in jail, wasn't it?
Well, no, I bailed you out. That was the second time. No, the first time
Well, yeah, because I
was
had to
no,
go.
I was a Friday night or something. I was watching your live thing. I got a notification that you were live. And it was the show you had about the guy that was wrongfully imprisoned. Do you remember who I'm talking
Oh,
about?
yes. Jimmy Dennis. Yeah,
Yes.
Jimmy Dennis. Yep.
And that show had so much impact on me. I thought, I need to get to know Christopher because he is my kind of people. And so another way you help people is by your show. So let's talk a little bit about your show. Well, you have a couple shows, but this one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so I have 2 shows a week. One of them is called Raw and Unscripted with Christopher Rausch.
Yeah.
That one's on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then the other show I have on Friday nights is called The Unfiltered Experience. And The Unfiltered Experience, that's the one where you saw where we had Jimmy Dennis on there. And yeah, he was wrongly convicted of murder. He was on death row for over 25 years. And he was finally proven innocent and was released, but he lost half of his life.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, through his strength and everything, we had an amazing show. And I'm just all about just highlighting people who have gone and done what's called the hero's journey, in the fact that they've gone through hell and back, and now they're on the other side of it, and they want to help other people go through that without it being so much of a hell. So yeah, that was one of our best shows, and I'm super proud of that. There's so many shows and so many people I've interviewed that are making such a huge impact in the world that I'm so excited to see who's going to be next. I'm getting more and more people referred to me who are on a higher level of the impact that they're doing. So I'm just excited. I just love doing it, as I'm sure you guys know.
That's what we're doing with you right now. You're making it easier for the next group.
So would you rather speak or coach?
I would much rather speak. Coaching's fun, but sometimes you find people. That's why I changed my moniker, if you will, to be No Excuses Coach, because I was so tired of hearing people's excuses that it was blowing my effing mind. So I was like, okay, I want you to know that I'm the No Excuses Coach. So no, for me, speaking, being able to spend time on stage and say something in such a way where I see people's immediate reactions, like they have the epiphany, they have the aha moment. For me, that's absolute golden territory. And so now that COVID's being lifted, I'm excited to speak wherever anybody wants me to speak. So if you want me to come speak for your company or organization, hit me up. I would love to do it. I'm honored. I have a good time. We play Name That Tune. We have a good time. We get up and dance. It's an experience for however long I'm on stage. So I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to get back on stages again. So yes, thank you.
Okay. Well, random question. Who's your favorite band?
Who's my favorite what?
Band.
My favorite band? Oh, geez, that's a tough one. Well, I'm wearing Kiss right now. So Kiss is one of my first favorite bands. But I would have to say one of my favorite bands right now, two of them are Shinedown and Foo Fighters. And obviously we know that we just lost the drummer for Foo Fighters, Taylor Hawkins, which I was absolutely just crushed by hearing, you know, the fact that you're on top of your game and everything. But yeah, I would have to say Foo Fighters and Shinedown. It used to be Bon Jovi, but Bon Jovi's kind of lost his voice lately. I don't know if you've seen the concert reviews on it, but still respect the guy and respect the music. But Shinedown and Foo Fighters. What about you guys?
I'm definitely a Foo Fighter fan.
Me too. Me too. I am. I'm old school. I'm an '80s girl, so I like, I don't know. I like the Maroon 5. I like them a lot, and I like the Paper Kites. I like them. I love ELO,
Yeah.
and I love Dave Matthews Band. Love Dave Matthews.
Good
Would
choice.
run off with Dave Matthews if he ever knocked on my door. Keep waiting.
Okay, now there's
Hasn't
like 5
happened.
people that you'll run off with now.
There's
You want me to name them to everybody?
There's a list of people. You know them.
One's on our show.
Oh, one maybe. Okay.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I hope that didn't embarrass you, Christopher.
Did that embarrass you? No, he doesn't get embarrassed.
So, okay. Well,
Wait, maybe he didn't hear it.
I don't know if he did or not. Is he frozen? Are you frozen, Christopher?
Oh, I don't think he heard it.
He's frozen. Okay.
Okay, we're like, phew. Okay, let's get him back.
Lynn, don't tell.
Don't tell Lynn, please.
Just said.
I keep looking at the picture and it looks like he's blinking, but no,
he's frozen.
Oh, he is blinking. I don't think he hears us. Maybe we should, maybe I'll say something in the chat.
I don't know. Christopher, yeah, he's gone. Like I said, we were having a little bit of audio problems, so
yeah, that's okay.
So
Boy, what a story! Wow.
Yeah, he's unbelievable inspiration.
Yeah,
unbelievable. We do know that he has a hard stop, so he has another group.
There he is.
Are you back?
I'm so sorry. It says I have like full bars and everything, and I did.
So
my
you
show
didn't hear
live
what
my
we said, did
night.
you?
It totally worked. So I apologize for the bad connection.
Oh, so that was perfect timing.
You didn't hear what I said.
Perfect timing, Christopher.
Okay.
That's right, Lynn. Because I'm gonna get her for that one later.
Yeah, well, if he listens to the replay, he'll see it, I guess. Okay, so is there anything else that you want to tell the world about before we go to our next segment?
Anything I want to tell the world about?
Yeah.
I want to tell people that you have the ability to do whatever it is that you put your mind to, that you need to take a look at the 5 people you surround yourself with the most and really choose those people wisely, because if those people don't elevate you, if they don't love you and support you and listen to you, then you need to get new people in your life. Because I have seen people at the lowest of lows with the biggest addictions, with the biggest excuses, that have changed their life massively by just by disassociating with toxic people and getting around the right people who want you to grow and to learn by being honest with you. It's so many people in our life that they're not honest with us and they want the best for us, yet when you have somebody who's honest with you and says, hey, Chris, you do this or something like that, that's when I grow. So I surround myself with amazing people like that. So that's what I would encourage everybody else to do, is make sure you look at the 5 people you're around the most and really count those people close to you and make sure that they're elevating your soul and your spirit.
I would love our listeners to write down their 5 people in the comments. That would be really cool.
And even if you don't want to put it in the comments, just really think about who those folks are.
Yeah.
And do you need to
write it somewhere,
make any additions or omissions?
Yeah.
Because we're here for such a short time. You need to make it count. You need to make it count.
Okay,
So
well, let's move on to our next segment.
Oh, look at that.
Love
That's
it.
adorable.
Oh.
Christopher, I don't know if you're familiar with this segment of our show. It's a tradition. We like to talk skincare products here at Candidly Speaking with Chelle
good.
and Kelle. So let's hear what you got.
Teresa.
What is it that you put on that pretty face of yours?
I use Teresa's Rodan and Fields
Me
cosmetics.
too.
So do I.
Me too. Yeah.
I didn't
All
use them
three
today,
of us.
though.
Yeah. Shout out to Teresa Silcox, you all.
Wait,
She is she's over here in the chat.
message her to get you on the perfect skincare regime.
Don't get this. Yeah, I'm on the one for old ladies.
I'm on the one for older ladies.
So
I'm on the one for prepubescent boys.
Well, it is working for you. It is working for
Definitely.
you. So are you, I mean, do you get massages? Do you do pedicures and things like that, Christopher? Do you pamper yourself? I guess I should say.
Yes, of course. You have to pamper yourself. You have to do the things that you love to do and take care of yourself, because otherwise, what are you doing in your life? You know, we always play the someday game. That someday when this happens or that happens, then we're going to spoil ourselves. But the journey is right now. We have to live in the moment right now and be in the moment right now. And for me, coming and camping and writing this book is my way of spoiling myself. So yes, you have to absolutely spoil yourself. It's mandatory.
Good. I love that answer.
Oh,
Love
thanks,
that answer.
Teresa.
Thank you, Teresa. So are you. Teresa is amazing.
She
Cutest
is.
little dog ever. Layla, cutest little husband, Tate. We love them all.
I know we got to see each other in person.
We did.
was
Yeah.
really
What,
good.
2 weeks ago, I guess, in Charlotte, we were all together at the Gittimer conference, and it was a wonderful time. Wonderful time. Lots of new friends. Lots of stuff to digest still.
So I think that if anyone here is listening and would like to get some kind of coaching or get a taste of it, they need to contact you, Christopher.
Yep.
And they can find you at ChristopherRausch.com, correct? And they can message you there and set something up so they can actually see what it's like to have a badass coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Make an appointment. There you go.
What's the number one reason someone should use you as a coach, Christopher?
They don't want to have any regrets in their life.
Okay, and what's the number one reason they should hire you to speak?
Anything?
Did you hear me?
Yep, no regrets.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you so
That's a
much for
good
your
one.
time and taking
Oh,
in a
yeah. Look, Teresa's there. She is. There's her
Yeah.
testimonial. It is life-changing. Yeah. Yeah. So please look up Christopher Rausch. Promise it will be time well spent. We can't wait for your book. Do you
I
have any
know.
idea when that's going to happen? The one you're writing right now?
What was
Can
that?
you hear us? When is your book going to be ready?
Yep. Woo, I've already written over 100,000 words, and I probably
Oh,
I know.
got me at the edge of my seat on that one.
Me too. Me too.
Well, while he's doing that, we'll thank our sponsors, Blue Sky Video Productions. Bruce, thank you for being such a wonderful producer and YouTube strategist. Thank you, Goodwin Graphics, for providing the t-shirts to our guests, which were being made as we speak. So we'll be able to send out some t-shirts to our special guests very soon. And of course, Cards That Wow. If you want to wow your clients, be sure to check me out on www.cardsthatwow.com or message me on Facebook. Christopher, thank you so much.
There you go.
There
I
it
did
is.
not know it was Franklin D. Roosevelt who said that. Thank you so much, Bruce.
Thanks.
I
See,
love that quote.
That's
I
why
love
he's awesome as a producer. Basically,
That is right.
That's an example right there.
Well, guys, please get in touch with Christopher. He's amazing. He will teach you how to live your life unstoppable with no regrets. Just get going. Just do it already. Okay. He can help you get there.
Stop
So,
wasting your time.
That's right. That's right. So, Christopher, thank you so much. It's been such an honor having you here.
He'll be able to, when he replays this, he'll be able to
Yeah,
see us adoring him and loving him. And thank you for being on our show, Christopher. And next week we have the amazing Doug Wayne.
Doug Wayne next week. That's right.
So tune in. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Oh, there he is.
Bye.
Bye, Christopher. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Christopher.
See y'all. Have a good week.
We love you guys. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Okay.